Good evening, aspirants. First of all, I welcome you all to today's news analysis discussion. And we know, right, today is our Republic Day. So first of all, Happy Republic Day. And you have to know that today, that is the Jan 26th, marks the date when our Constitution was coming into enforcement. That is, even though our Constitution was enacted and adopted in the year 1949, that is in November 26th, 1949 was the date when our constitution was dedicated to the people of India. But in spite of that, our constitution came into force only on Jan 26th of 1950. That is why we are celebrating this date as Republic Day. So with that, let us move into the articles discussion. So for today, we will be covering around 5 topics ranging from economy, international relations, and governance part. So with this, straight away, let us move to the first topic. Coming to the first topic of the day, India's Juggernaut of censorship. You might have come across a documentary released by BBC, right? That is regarding our Prime Minister. This news article is related to that only. See, this opinion section is the analysis of recent response of MIT, that is the Ministry of Information Technology, to that documentary published by the BBC. Here, the MIT has been criticized because of blocking nearly 50 tweets on Twitter that were sharing this documentary. And also, the government has been criticized for exercising emergency powers under the IT rules and Section 69A of IT Act of 2000. By using these provisions, the government has been blocking access to this documentary within India and made sure that this documentary is not re-uploaded in any social media sites. So before going into what the opinion has to say, let us know about the emergency provisions of IT Act and also regarding the IT rules. See, the Section 69A of the IT Act gives power to the government to restrict access to any content in the internet. And if the government is convinced that content is against the integrity or interest of the nation, or if it affects the security of the state, or if the content is affecting the friendly relations with foreign states, or if the content disturbs the public order, then the government can issue orders to take down those contents from circulation in the public. See, generally the orders passed by the government are given to the telecom service providers or sometimes to the social media intermediaries to remove those contents from their sites. So here, know that all directions to restrict information or content in circulation are issued by writing, because it cannot just be an oral order, right? Every order has to be documented, and only through writing, even the author or the general public could come to know that the government has passed such an order to restrict the access. And this act also says that if social media intermediaries fails to comply with the regulation, then the social media intermediary will be penalized by imposing fines, or it can even be penalized with an imprisonment term of up to 7 years. Know that the procedures for executing the provisions of the Act are mentioned in the IT rules of 2009. So according to this rule, there will be a government designated officer along with an examination committee. This examination committee will assess the questionable contents, and the assessment should be held within 48 hours of receiving the takedown request. Most importantly, the rule says that there should be an opportunity to be heard from the author or originator of the content so that they could provide clarifications with respect to the questionable content. And after that, the recommendations of the examination committee are sent to Secretary of Department of IT. Then the IT secretary, if convinced by the recommendation of examination committee, he or she will forward a request to the social media intermediary for restricting access. But even after that, these emergency provisions in IT Act and rules allow for further clarifications. That is, even after the content has been blocked for specified reasons, there will be certain provisions where within 48 hours of contents getting blocked, the originator of the content can give further clarifications and the valid reasons behind the content, so that any such order blocking the access can also be revoked after due examination. Now, coming to the opinion section, the author says that only limited information about the blockage is available, and that too information are coming primarily from statements made by Twitter to the Lumen database that tracks content removal requests. This leads to a question over natural justice, right? And even the constitutionality of such direction from the government is questioned here. So what is wrong with the direction issued by the government? Let us see now. See, the author quotes the case of Cricket Association of Bengal. Here, the Supreme Court has recognized that the right to receive as well as communicate information is implicit in free speech. That is, the right to receive and communicate information is indirectly expressed in the term free speech. Here, the author specifies that the right to receive information as a fundamental right to convey that the government has not fulfilled it while issuing the orders to restrict access to BBC documentary. He says that the government, that is the author says that the government should issue a cause notice before any restriction is made. This is because only then the author of any content or originator of the content will know about such a move made by the government. And then there should be an opportunity of defense to the author, and the government should mention the reasons for restriction in an order that is made publicly. Because only if the government tells the reason for taking down the contents, the author of the content can go to the courts and ask for remedy, citing the government order, and there the author can defend their claims stating the government reasons are invalid. In the BBC documentary case and associated contents restriction, the opinion section says that government has not followed the procedures till now. Mainly, 45 people whose tweets were blocked were not even given an opportunity to present their views before the government, and even the copy of blocking order wasn't given to them. See, the opinion conveys that such irresponsible actions from the executive is against the directions of SC issued in Shreya Singhal versus Union of India case. This is important case because it upheld that blocking powers under section 69A is subjected to certain conditions, like reasons have to be recorded in writing in such blocking orders so that they may be defended by the petitioner in a writ petition. In spite of such directions from the apex court, even now blocking orders are issued secretly and sent to the service providers directly. This makes it difficult for the authors and content originators to know that their contents have become questionable, and it also prevents the opportunity of defense for them, and even the general public cannot know and they cannot even challenge the government order. Secondly, we saw, right, IT rules and section 69A of IT Act 2000 allows emergency blocking. Here also the rules are silent in defining what is emergency situation. Even the parliament haven't defined the term emergency situation. Thirdly, the emergency blocking allows bypassing the examination committee and also eliminates the opportunity to be heard. Because the primary aim of emergency blocking is to fasten the process of restricting the content from government side. So because of this, IT rules have been challenged in courts. And by that, in August of 2021, the Bombay High Court suspended Rule 9 of 1 and 9 of 3 that establishes a code of ethics for online news platforms, and also this section 9 of 3 established a 3-tier grievance redressal mechanism that will be headed by the central government. Both these sections have been suspended by the Bombay High Court. In addition to it, the Madras High Court also mentioned that this IT rule, if applied in a coercive manner from the government side, it might lead to a violation of fundamental rights under Article 19 of 1 that talks about the right to freedom of speech and expression. Until now, the orders of High Court are in motion, as even the Supreme Court refused to interfere in it. In addition to it, the author of this article says that the IT rules have undergone a radical change. Here he says that instead of evolving according to the needs and demands of the situation, the rules have only led to centralization of power. So, in order to increase government's control over online platforms and news publishers, the IT rules got amended in the year 2021. By that way, it led to creation of grievance offices for social media companies. Next, it also established a traceability requirement to increase censorship and break privacy protection technologies such as encryption. So as a result, the social media intermediaries are now supposed to share the originator of questionable content when asked by the government. This rule also required news publishers to follow some moral code of self-censorship that allowed grievances against the news publishers. But fortunately, these provisions got away because of HC's intervention. See, the act of centralization did not end here. This rule got amended even in the year 2022, where a set of amendments created a government censorship body that sits in appeal of all content moderated by social media companies. And also in 2023, there is a provision where MeitY wants to create a self-regulatory system for online gaming and gambling companies. This is said to be illegal on several grounds, including federalism, because online gaming and gambling is a state subject. Even though after recent criticism were mounted against the ministry, MeitY is pushing it forward only. And a new provision was proposed on Jan 17th of 2023, in which a draft gave the Press Information Bureau and any central government ministry the power to fact check the online contents, and even they could disable the access of such contents. Here the draft didn't even define the term fake, and which gives greater chance of wider interpretation and greater discretion to PIB and central ministries. These are the things that the author has discussed in this opinion section to substantiate his claims that IT rules are kept expanding and it keeps infringing the natural rights of citizens. So with this, we have completed this topic. Let us move to the next one. Coming to the second topic, contesting the hegemony of the dollar. This news article discusses about the initiatives that are taken by several countries to internationalize their local currencies. Also, the article discusses about the concerns and opportunities in sidelining the dominance of dollar in trade and to replace dollar with local currencies. Let us see in detail about this topic. Firstly, why do we talk about de-dollarization? It is because multipolar international system is changing the trends in polycentric global geoeconomics. Polycentric global geoeconomics means that countries across the world are getting integrated with respect to their economy, and each one is dependent on another for growing their economies. This can be seen through significant trade with the global south through trade agreements like BIMSTEC, ASEAN, etc. Currency swap agreement is another initiative which deals with exchange of currencies. Here, a currency swap is an agreement between two countries with some predetermined terms and conditions. For example, if there is a news that India cleared a currency swap facility for Sri Lanka in order to boost the Sri Lankan economy, it means that India will give a loan to Sri Lanka in dollars and Sri Lanka will repay the principal amount and interest in Sri Lankan currency. This fulfills short-term foreign exchange liquidity requirements and also ensures adequate foreign currency to Sri Lanka. Ultimately, this saves Sri Lanka from balance of payment crisis. And next is the trade in national currency bypassing the dollar. Steps like trading oil and gas in national currencies, promotion of such arrangements by regional organization, the setting up of special accounts for internationalization of national currencies, and setting up of financial communication system are other initiatives which we'll be discussing in the later part of the article. But why is this topic in news? This is because many countries outside the West are This is because many countries outside the West are developing mechanisms for alternate currency exchanges and also to move away from using dollars for trade payments. This is done to reduce risk and their dependence on dollar. See, trade wars against China that is led by the US and its Western allies have pushed China on path of de-dollarization. And the Russia-Ukraine war fastened the process since Russia is trading oil and commodities in its own national currency. This is similar to a model of rupee-ruble trade of earlier years. But why should there be an end to dollar dominance in world trade? Here the author says that steady growth of emerging economies demand such economic diversification. That is, a move towards multipolar economy. For example, the combined GDP of India, China, Russia, South Africa, Indonesia, Brazil, Iran and Turkey exceeds that of G7 countries. Also, the inter-Asian commodities is leading to high level of trade between Asian countries, and India's trade with Asian countries is higher than India's trade with the West. If we take China, its trade with Asian countries have become doubled in last few years. Even it is more than its trade with the Western countries. And moreover, countries like UAE, Iran, Turkey and other developing countries are trading in local currencies with their regional partners. Fourthly, there are bilateral currency swaps among Asian countries, like bilateral currency swap among countries like China, Japan, South Korea, or nearly about $380 billion. Similarly, several African countries are using South African rand for trade purposes. Likewise, the Latin American countries are moving towards having a greater inter-regional trade. Also know that the Asian central banks itself have over $400 billion of local currency swap lines and trade among themselves. If we take our country's payment for fuel, oil, mineral and specific defense imports from Russia, India is itself paying in rupees on an informal basis. And India has worked out to have trade with UAE, Japan and many South Asian countries in local currencies. In that fashion, the RBI has come up with a rupee settlement system where it allows international trade through special Vostro accounts in designated Indian banks. A Vostro account is an account that will be held by a domestic bank in the domestic bank's currency, in the domestic nation's currency, that is, in rupee itself. A Vostro account is an account that will be held by a domestic bank in the local currency itself. That is, if in India there is a domestic bank, it will hold the currency in rupee itself, but it will hold these currencies on behalf of the foreign bank. This idea is to get away from the Western sanctions against Russia by carrying on trade in rupees. So we can say that these Vostro accounts facilitate trade in Indian rupee. Thus, it is seen as a step towards internationalizing. The rupee. Likewise, to evade Western sanction and as an alternative to SWIFT international system, Russian banks have started using China-based cross-border interbank payment system. This is to ensure international payments from Russia. In addition to it, know that since 2015, BRICS New Development Bank has been disbursing around 50% of its loans in national currencies itself. In that way, the BRICS NDB is also taking steps to encourage trade and investment in national currencies. Other regional groupings such as Shanghai Cooperation Organization and Eurasian Economic Union and partner countries of RCEP, that is the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, are setting up processes to conduct trade and investments in national currencies. Hence, as a result, the process of creating a common payment infrastructure and connecting national systems for the transmission of financial information is being put in place. But the serious challenge to the dollar comes from a move to trade oil and gas outside the dollar zone. This challenges the monopoly of the dollar that the US had since 1970s. But this process is yet to achieve full force. See, as studied earlier, India's Vostro account enable rupee payments for Russian crude oil, and even the former RBI governor said that the Russian crude oil trade in rupee alone can save up to 4 billion a month in forex outgo for India. This is the amount of potential we have if we replace dollar with our national currency in global trade. But the author, before concluding, says that unfortunately there is no move for de-dollarization at global level. This is because national currencies cannot be fully convertible. For example, you cannot go and invest your rupee directly in any Western country's stock market, right? You have to convert it to the currency of the nation, and then only you can go and invest. But this is not the case for dollar. Dollar is widely accepted there. Secondly, know that the dollar makes up to 60% of global currencies, while euro amounts to around 20%, whereas the yen is 5.8 and yuan comprises 3% of global currency. See, we should put some sustainable effort in order to make an alternative system operational. Thirdly, the author cites the opportunity that is available for countries that can move away from trade in dollars. We studied that the diversification of trade in national currency is increasing, right? And see, the trade and buying food and oil in national currency gives significant autonomy to the states, that is the countries, and also allows the countries to function their economy outside the desires of collective Western interest. And as a nation states of global south are determined to choose their own allies based on the country's interest, it can lead to multipolar system that can merge geoeconomics and also lead to rise of new supply chain and alternate currency chains. So that is all about this topic. Here we have discussed comprehensively regarding the issues and the potential and the opportunities we have if we can de-dollarize the international trade system. So with this, let us complete this topic and move to the next one. Coming to the third topic, Pakistan Prime Minister to be invited for SEO Summit. See, this article is regarding the SEO Summit, where India is chairing the SEO Summit this year, and it is expected to be held in the month of May or June in Goa. So for that summit, Pakistan's foreign minister has been invited to attend the summit. The reply for that invitation is yet to be received, and this SEO Summit is significant for India because it can bring close ties with Pakistan, as it will bring Pakistani leader to India nearly after a decade. And if you take, it is also important as India and China have had very few bilateral meetings after 2020 standoffs at line of actual control. Also, we have to see if Russia's Vladimir Putin will appear in forum, as Russia is in war with Ukraine till date. So in this context, let us discuss about the SEO from prelims angle. SEO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. See, it is a permanent intergovernmental international organization. And the main goal of the SEO is to strengthen mutual confidence and to promote good neighborly relations among the member countries. Promoting effective cooperation in politics, trade and economy, science and technology, culture, education, energy, or other objectives. See, this SEO aims to have a joint effort to maintain and ensure peace, security, and stability in the Central Asian region. And it also aims to provide establishment of democratic, just, political, and economic international order in the region. If we take the history of SEO, see, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization got established in the year 2001, and it was established in Shanghai, which is in China. The countries like Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan came together to form such groupings. Before that, except Uzbekistan, all other countries were members of Shanghai 5. That was a political association. See, initially the SEO focused on efforts to curb terrorism, separatism, and extremism in the Central Asian region. And the charter of the SEO was signed at St. Petersburg Summit held in the year 2002. which became a fundamental constituent document that describes SEO's objectives, principles, its structures. In addition, the SEO plans to take actions against international drug trafficking because it says that international drug trafficking is a major source of financial global terrorism that leads to disturbance in Central Asian region. But at the same time, the SEO took up variety of economic activities as well. For example, in the year of 2003, the heads of SEO member states signed a 20-year program of multilateral trade and economic cooperation, which provides for the establishment of free trade zone within the territory. After such successful measures of SEO, the organization planned to expand their influence by including India and Pakistan as full-time members. For that, the historical meeting of head of the State Council of SEO was held in 2017 in Astana. In that meeting, the status of full membership, the status of full member of organization was granted to India and Pakistan. So as of now, there are 8 countries in SEO that are full-time members, such as India, Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Pakistan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. And there are 4 countries which have observer status, while there are 6 countries that have dialogue partner status. See, for achieving the organization objective, it has established various structures in it. First is the most important, which is called RATS, that is Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure. It is a permanent body of the SEO, which is based in Tashkent, which is the capital of Uzbekistan. See, this RATS operates in accordance with the SEO Charter, the Shanghai Convention, to enforce combating measures against terrorism, separatism, and extremism in the Central Asian region. And if you take the SEO Business Council, it is a non-governmental entity, and its aim is to unite the business community from SEO member states for an economic cooperation between the SEO countries. See, it can also lead to establish direct relations and a dialogue between business and financial communities of SEO countries. Thereby, it can facilitate multilateral projects in the countries. Finally, it is the SEO Interbank Consortium. See, this SEO Interbank Consortium is established by Council of Heads of Government, and it was established in the year 2005. It provides fund and banking services in order to invest projects that are sponsored by the governments of SEO members. See, this consortium mainly deals with providing funds for infrastructure projects, basic industries, high-tech industries, export-oriented sectors, and social projects, and issuing loans based on generally accepted international banking practices. This is all about the history, objective, and structure of SEO. So with this, let us close the topic and move to the next one. Now coming to the 4th topic, Jal Jeevan Mission provides tap water to 11 crore houses. See, yesterday, the Jal Shakti Ministry conveyed that the government has provided tap water connections to over 11 crore rural households. And data from the ministry suggests that out of the targeted some 19.3 crore households, nearly 56% of the households have been covered under this scheme so far. And even our Prime Minister Narendra Modi appreciated the ministry's performance in Twitter. In this context, let us discuss about the Jal Jeevan Mission. The aim of the scheme is to ensure that every rural household has drinking water supply. That is, this scheme also makes sure that adequate quantity and prescribed quality of water supply is maintained on regular and long-term basis. Know that the water supply is provided at an affordable cost in order to improve the living standards of rural community. See, this mission facilitates states and union territories in planning rural water supply strategy through participation of various stakeholders to ensure portable drinking water security in a long-term basis. And it also makes sure that every rural households and public institutions like healthcare centers, Anganwadi centers, Gram Panchayat buildings, schools, all those institutions get access to tap water. In addition, this scheme also facilitates the states and union territories for creation of a water supply infrastructure. This is because creation of water supply infrastructure helps in achieving the target of every rural households has functional tap water connection by the year 2024, and the water in adequate quantity, that is 55 liter per day per person, is the target that is fixed under this scheme. See, it helps the states and union territories to plan for their drinking water security. In addition, the Gram Panchayats, rural communities, also plans, implements and manages their own village water supply system. In addition to it, the mission helps the states and union territories to develop robust institution with a focus on service delivery and ensure that mission is functioning through audits and constant monitoring. In addition to it, a capacity building of the stakeholders and awareness generation is performed under this scheme so that the communities are getting aware of the significance of water for improvement in their quality of life. In making these provisions and mobilization of financial assistance to states and union territories, the scheme, this Jal Jeevan Mission, helps them. But why is this scheme so important? This is because it promotes women empowerment and empowerment of girl child. Because girl children no longer need to drop out of school or take leave in attending schools and go on to help their mother to fetch water to their family. Even the mother or an elderly woman will be free from walking long distances to fetch water. If this scheme is implemented in their homes, women who often engage in domestic work, especially in fetching water, will have more time to dedicate. That is, it will address the time poverty of women so that women can spend time for their self needs. They can invest the time in any productive work that can even generate income to them. Thereby, Jal Jeevan Mission can help in increasing the labor force participation rate among women and ensure financial autonomy for women. Also, the scheme gives higher priority to water quality affected areas, villages and drought prone villages, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana villages, in providing functional household tap water connectivity. Hence, it is said that this scheme ensures inclusive growth and development. In addition to it, the scheme, by providing functional tap connections to schools, Anganwadis, health and wellness center, community buildings, ensure accessibility to education and health. This can lead to promotion of cleanliness and overall human development. Also, the constant monitoring, awareness generation, collective ownership makes this scheme more participative in nature. So, if the scheme is implemented in an effective manner, its gains are immense, as we have discussed above. That is all about this topic. Let us move to the final topic of the day. Now, coming to the final topic of the day, private firms to be part of Monument Mitra scheme. See, Monument Mitra scheme emphasis adopting a cultural heritage and maintaining it. So recently, the government said that it will engage with the private firms and have a partnership with them so to preserve and protect nearly 1,000 ASI monuments in the country. So in this, let us know about the Monument Mitra scheme in short. So in this topic discussion, let us know about the Monument Mitra scheme in short. See, a project named Adopt a Heritage was launched on September month of 2017. That is on World Tourism Day by the President of India. See, initially it was under the Ministry of Tourism in close collaboration with Ministry of Culture and Archaeological Survey of India. This project was to provide world-class tourist facilities at various cultural heritage sites and monuments and also to other tourist sites. By this project, the government aimed to make heritage sites and monuments tourist friendly and also planned to enhance the country's tourism potential and cultural importance of our country. But recently, this project was transferred to Ministry of Culture, and the project primarily focuses on providing basic amenities that include cleanliness, drinking water supply, ease of access to tourists, souvenir shops, cafeteria for promoting tourism in our country. The project involves selected public sector companies, private sector companies and individuals to develop tourist infrastructure at heritage sites. And those who engage in such infrastructure development and activities providing amenities in heritage areas are called as monument Mitras. Know that if a private sector is engaging in monument adoption, they spend on such activities primarily under their corporate social responsibility fund. See, these monument Mitras will also take care of operation and maintenance of the adopted site for a period of nearly 5 years. And the time period may also vary if government wants to change it. See, this project began initially with just 93 ASI monuments and have now been extended and has now been expanded to other natural and cultural heritage sites and other tourist sites across India. See, under this project, the heritage sites or monuments are categorized as green, blue and orange based on their visibility and number of tourists visiting the heritage sites. Know that as part of the project guidelines, the monument Mitra who is willing to adopt a monument from green category should also choose at least one blue or orange category monuments. This is all about the scheme from prelims perspective. From mains angle, let us know what are the benefits of this scheme. See, this scheme aims to promote development of tourism infrastructure through partnership of private players. And in addition, it can promote tourist experience of heritage sites or monuments, also tourist sites, so that the persons visiting these sites themselves could become tourism ambassadors for India. Thirdly, it generates livelihood by promoting the culture and heritage value of the country. Fourthly, through active involvement of local communities, it creates employment opportunities in the monument areas. Also, making use of country's tourism potential can lead to employment generation and economic development. Finally, proper operation and maintenance emphasized in the project can help develop sustainable tourism infrastructure in the country. This is all about the topic. Let us wind up the discussion session and move to prelims and mains practice question. Now, coming to the prelims question discussion, consider the first question. With respect to Jal Jeevan Mission Rural, which of the following statements is sir or correct? First statement says, its objective is to provide safe and adequate drinking water through individual household tap connections by 2047 to all households in rural India. Statement 2 says, it is implemented by the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The options given are option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both 1 and 2, option D, neither 1 nor 2. See, the first statement says that the objective is to provide safe and adequate drinking water through individual household tap connections. This is correct. But the year given, no, this is wrong. We saw right in our discussion, it is to provide access to drinking water through functional household tap water connectivity by the year 2024 and not 2047. So this statement is wrong. If you take the second statement, it is saying that the scheme is implemented by Ministry of Panchayati Raj. This is also wrong because this scheme is implemented by Ministry of Jal Shakti. So the correct answer for this statement, for this question is option D, neither 1 nor 2. Now coming to the second question, which of the following pair of countries is not full-time members of Shanghai Cooperation Organization? The options given are option A, Afghanistan and Nepal, option B, China and Russia, option C, India and Uzbekistan, option D, Tajikistan and Pakistan. This is a direct question. We saw right in our discussion, as of now there are 8 countries in Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the full-time members are India, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, China, Russia, Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. And in addition to it, there are 4 other countries with an observer status and 6 other countries with dialogue partner status. Nepal as a dialogue partner with SEO, while Afghanistan as an observer status with SEO. So they are asking which of the following pair is not full-time members. So the answer for this question is option A, Afghanistan and Nepal. Now coming to the mains question, recent amendments to IT rules and emergency powers under IT Act of 2000 have adequately equipped the government to deal with fake news. Critically analyze. This is the practice question. The aspirants can take note of it. They can write the answer and they can post it in the comment section where the aspirants can have a peer review of it. So with this, we have come to the end of the news analysis discussion along with discussing the prelims and mains question. So if you like the video, if you can understand the way I'm teaching, you can like it, you can comment the video and you can share the video. Also make sure to subscribe to ForumIAS Academy. So with this, let us wind up the session and thank you for listening. Goodbye.